Hello students, let us further study the topic rotational dynamic. We had studied in the last lecture few concepts in the circular motion, that is nothing but radius vector and angular displacement. Similarly, we had further seen the angular velocity and angular acceleration. Let's have this formula. Let's recall their formula first. Angular displacement and linear displacements are given as theta is equal to s upon r, linear displacement upon radius, and relation between these two parameters are s is nothing but r into theta. Second thing, linear quantity velocity, which is analogous to angular velocity, we have the relation between them, v is equal to r omega. Similarly, we had seen the relation between linear acceleration and angular acceleration. They are analogous to each other, and relation between them is a is equal to r alpha. And again, let us concentrate on their direction. Consider a particle performing circular motion along the circumference of a circle of radius r. So radius vector is a vector directed from the center to the position of a particle. This is r. Similarly, direction of linear velocity is always tangential to a circle. So at this particular point, linear velocity is directed along this direction. And direction of angular velocity it cannot be shown on this circle. I will draw it. I will draw the axis of rotation of this circle, which is perpendicular to the plane containing circle. So angular velocity will be directed as per the right hand rule. Angular displacement and angular velocity, they are directed along this direction. So we had already seen their concept. Now let us further talk about the direction of this linear acceleration. As far as the angular quantities are concerned, angular velocity, angular displacement and angular acceleration, they all are directed along the axis of rotation. Now let us discuss the direction of linear acceleration. Linear acceleration in the circular motion is also called as radial acceleration. And it is also called as centripetal acceleration. Later on we will discuss it. What is the meaning of centripetal? But it is here at this point, it is just considered that it is also called as centripetal acceleration. Radial acceleration is directed, the direction of this acceleration is along the radius towards the center of a circle. This is the direction of this acceleration. It is directed along the radius towards the center. Or you can say that acceleration and radius vector both are oppositely directed. Radius vector is directed in a positive x direction, while the acceleration is directed in a negative x direction. That is why the formula of radial acceleration is a is equal to minus r omega square, or it is also equal to minus v square upon r. This we have discussed in the last lecture. So acceleration is called as centripetal. Meaning of centripetal is nothing but towards the center. So obviously this acceleration is directed towards the center of the circle, so it is called as centripetal acceleration. Now let us consider another concept in the circular motion, which is nothing but uniform circular motion. First and foremost thing, what is mean by uniform circular motion? Circular motion, as far as the definition is concerned, circular motion is nothing but motion of the particle along the circumference of a circle with along the circumference of a circle. Means if the path traveled by the particle is in the form of circumference, then we will say that the particle is performing circular motion. Now, what is the concept of uniformity? Uniformity is nothing but, uniform means same. Meaning of uniform is nothing but same, identical, or it is nothing but constant. Constant means what? Before studying the concept of uniform circular motion, let us consider the various examples. First and foremost one is revolution of Earth. We all know that Earth is revolving round the Sun in a circular orbit. It completes its one revolution in 365 days, and after the completion of 365 days, the same path will be repeated by the Earth. What does it mean? It means that the Earth is describing equal distance in equal time interval. Its motion is periodic, and the time period of its motion is nothing but 365 days. If it is the position of Sun and if it is the position of Earth, so Earth is going to revolve around the Sun in a specific time interval of 365 days. So here, what does mean by that? Uniformity. Earth is describing its path in an equal time interval. Means what? The distance traveled by the particle or the distance traveled by the Earth is constant, or that time interval is also constant. Do you have any relation between distance and time? Yes, it is nothing but the speed. It is nothing but distance upon time, or rate of change, or distance upon time. Speed of the Earth is constant, you can say. So the motion performed by the Earth along the circumference of a circle or along its orbit is with a constant speed. So this motion will be called as uniform circular motion. In short form, it is written as UCM. So meaning of uniform circular motion is nothing but motion of the particle along the circumference of a circle with constant linear speed. Why I have referred the word speed, not the velocity? Because as we all know that the different position of the Earth or different position on the circumference of the circle will have different direction of these velocities. So velocity is not same, but speed is same. So we will say that motion of the particle along the circumference of a circle with constant linear speed, not the velocity. Velocity will go on changing throughout the circle. Now the next one, you can define it in the same way. When you consider the quantity which is nothing but angular velocity. Angular velocity is, as per the right hand rule, if the particle is moving in an anti-clockwise sense, the angular velocity will be directed along the axis of rotation, or it will be directed in a vertically upward direction. As per the right hand rule, we had discussed it in the last lecture. So angular velocity will remain fixed whether the particle move from here to here, it moves from anywhere, it takes any position. It does not depends on the position of the particle on the circumference. it is fixed. So you can say that uniform circular motion is having the same value of angular velocity. So you can define the uniform circular motion as the motion of the particle along the circumference of a circle with constant angular velocity or with constant linear speed. Remember that linear velocity is not constant. So this is all about uniform circular motion. Now, and non-uniform circular motion means what? Motion of the particle with non-uniform circular motion is nothing but motion of the particle with different value of speed as well as different value of velocity. That motion will be called as non-uniform, or you can say accelerated. Remember the example of rotating fan. The moment when you switch on the fan, its speed gradually goes on increasing. When you switch it off, its speed gradually goes on decreasing. So these are the two examples having increasing and decreasing value of the speed. So in this case, the motion will be called as non-uniform. Understood the meaning of uniform circular motion and non-uniform circular motion? Now let us further have the concept of real forces and pseudo forces. First and foremost thing, real forces are nothing but the forces and its forces which are governed by the Newton's law or Newton's opinion. Real forces are nothing but it is having a three criteria. First and foremost thing, real forces should be measurable. The forces which are measurable, that forces will be called as real forces. Second criteria for the real forces is the forces should obey the Newton's law of motion. And the third criteria is it should be the force should be among the four fundamental forces. What are the four fundamental forces? Four fundamental forces are nothing but gravitational force, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear forces and weak nuclear forces. If our forces are of any of these type, then that forces will be called as real forces. Very first thing is it should be measurable. Second thing, Newton's law of motion should be applicable. And the third thing, the forces which we are calculating, it should be of among the four fundamental forces. So these are the concepts that you had studied about the real forces and pseudo forces. And these forces are also called as non-real. Non-real, it doesn't mean that it is not having any existence. They are having the existence, but their explanation is not as per these three criteria set by the Newton. Means that forces are not easily measurable, they do not obey the law of motion, and that forces will not belong to any of the four fundamental forces. So that forces will be called as non-real. Non-real doesn't means that imaginary. It's not imaginary. They are having the existence, but they are not. Their explanation is not given by the Newton. For example, let us consider the example of elevator, lift. Suppose you are the observer, you are standing in a lift and lift is moving in an upward direction. This is the ground floor or bottom floor, and this is the top floor. The moment when this elevator start moving in upward direction, here you are the observer, you will immediately feel that your weight is increased. Once it takes the constant speed, you will be stable in the lift, and before it reaches to the top floor, you will immediately, when the lift is deaccelerated, you will feel that your weight is slightly decreased. What does mean by increasing the weight at the bottom and decreasing the weight at the stopping position of the elevator? These are the two positions where the lift is accelerated and here the lift is deaccelerated. These are the forces which we can feel, and if any precise instrument, weighing machine is placed inside the lift, so we can measure that increment and decrement in the weight also. And second thing, these two forces arises because of the motion acceleration of the frame of reference. Frame of reference means coordinate system, whether it is XYZ axis or it is R or theta axis. So if our frame of reference at this particular point, our frame of reference is not stationary, it is not inert, at this position, the frame of reference will be called as non-inertial. So when the frame of reference at this two position becomes non-inertial, we will feel another type of force which is very difficult to measure, but it is having a real existence, and explanation of these two forces cannot be given by the Newton's law of motion, because Newton's law of motion are only obeyed in the inertial frame. So that is why these two forces, or these two increment and decrement in the weight, will be regarded as due to the forces which are non-real, or which will be called as pseudo forces. And obviously these two forces are not of the basic fundamental forces. It is not the gravitational force, it is not the electromagnetic force, it is not the nuclear forces, weak or strong, it is not of that type. So that these forces will be called as pseudo forces, and they are just arising because of the non-inertial frame of reference, because of the acceleration and deacceleration of your frame of reference. These two forces will come into existence. They are having the real existence, but they will be, according to Newton, they will be called as non-real forces or pseudo forces. Understood? Now let us study the concept of force in circular motion. Let's take the very simple example. One stone is taken when it is tied to a string, and suppose this stone is rotated in a horizontal circle. So by means of one finger I can rotate the stone in a horizontal circle. Suppose the stone is having the mass m acceleration in the uniform circular motion is directed along the radius towards the center. This acceleration A is nothing but minus v square upon r. So in this uniform circular motion, let us apply the Newton's law of motion to find out the force. As per the Newton's law of motion, force is given by the formula mass into acceleration. Now mass and acceleration is nothing but minus v square upon r. It will become minus v square upon r. Acceleration is also having the formula minus r omega square. So this force is also having the formula minus m r omega square. Now what do you say about this force? What is the direction of this force? Obviously, while moving a stone in a horizontal circle, I will feel a thrust on the center. Along the string, I will feel that one kind of thrust or one kind of force on the tip of my finger. Because of the circular motion, I will feel the force at the center. What is the meaning of this force? Obviously, this force experienced by me is nothing but minus mr omega square. I can say that the force which I am experiencing over here is directed along the string. So this radius is nothing but the string. So this force is directed along the radius and towards the center. So this force is called as centripetal force. Centripetal force means the force which is directed along the radius and towards the center of a circle. Now let's see what happens if I cut off the force. Suppose the string is cut over here at this particular point when the particle is performing circular motion. Let's take a scissor and cut the rope or cut the string. What is going to happen? The particle will move in the direction of the tangential velocity. Then after it, with the force of gravity, the particle is going to fall to the floor. What does it mean? When the force, radial force or the centripetal force is cut off, when the centripetal force is 0, the particle will not be able to continue its circular motion. It means that the centripetal force is nothing but the force which is necessary for the circular motion. If centripetal force is not there, uniform circular motion will not be possible. So got the concept of centripetal force, the force which is directed along the radius towards the center of a circle, and it is necessary for the maintenance of circular motion. If centripetal force is not there, circular motion will not be possible. Any example of centripetal force? You can give various example of a centripetal force. Same example which we have considered over here is here the necessary centripetal force at this particular point. Suppose at the instant the particle is here at this point P. So the particle is connected with the string. You will feel one type of tension along the string. This tension is going to provide necessary centripetal force for the circular motion. Similarly, Earth is revolving around the Sun in a circular orbit. There the necessary centripetal force is given by the gravitational force of attraction between the Sun and Earth. You can have the example of moon is revolving around the sun, moon is revolving around the earth. Here also necessary centripetal force is provided by gravitational force of attraction between earth and moon. You can take the example of all the electrons revolving around the nucleus in a circular orbit. Here which force is going to provide the necessary centripetal force? Obviously the electrostatic force of attraction between electron and the positively charged nucleus is going to provide the necessary centripetal force for circular motion. Now one question arises over here is, so here we have completed the concept of centripetal force. Now one question arises here is, if the particle is performing circular motion, it is being continuously acted upon a force which is directed along the radius towards the center. Now my question is, why the particle does not move in the direction of force? Why it is continuing its circular motion? This answer cannot be given by Newtonian theory. Why the particle is not moving along the direction of the force? Yes, obviously if the particle is fixed to its position, it is not moving in the direction of force. It means what? There is an existence of another force which is directed away from the center. Here we have to do this assumption, but we are going to prove that this force is also exists. For example, see here, if we consider one more force which is acting opposite to that of the centripetal force, so that the centripetal force and the second force both are equal and opposite, the particle will not be able to move from its position. It will continue its circular motion. Hence it is not going to move in the direction of centripetal force. So here we have to do one assumption, that there is one more force which is acting on the particle and which is directed along the radius but away from the center. The second force over here will be called as centrifugal. Centrifugal force is nothing but the force which is having the same magnitude as that of centripetal force but directed opposite to that of centripetal force. So this centrifugal force is equal to minus mr omega square, which is nothing but plus mr omega square, or it is plus mv square upon r. Now question arises here, where we are going to this such type of force. Here the second force, this was our real force. It was taken from the Newton's equation. It is going to follow the Newton's law of motion. Now second force which we have taken over here is, this force is just to compensate our assumption over here, we will have to take the concept of another force. This force is, explanation of this force is not given by the Newton. This second force is called as pseudo force. Pseudo means non-real. This is of the type which is which is not having any criteria of real forces. So this will be considered as pseudo force. But we know that this force is having a real existence. For example, consider a turntable over here. It is rotating about the axis which is passing through its center and perpendicular to its plane. And suppose you are the observer sitting at this particular position. Initially assume that you are stationary, this turntable is not moving, both of you are stationary, you are in an inertial frame of reference. Suppose somebody suddenly set the turntable into rotation. Immediately at this particular position, you will feel that if you are not supported anywhere, you will be thrown outward at this particular point, because the turntable is now start performing rotation, it start accelerating. Now you are in a non-inertial frame of reference. Your first observation is you will feel that you will be thrown outside the table. This is due to the centrifugal force. Now if you want to maintain your position on this turntable, what you will have to do? Obviously, when you will find yourself disbalanced over here, yourself disbalancing at this particular points because of the centrifugal force, you will, if you want to maintain your position on the turntable, if you want to maintain the circular motion, you will immediately stretch your hand towards the center to provide the necessary centripetal force. Immediately your hand will move towards the center of the turntable if you want to keep on rotating. So this is the concept here. Centripetal is necessary for the circular motion, while the centrifugal arises because of the non-inertial frame of reference, because the frame of reference gets accelerated. So this non-inertial frame, Newton's law, remember that Newton's law of motions are only obeyed in the inertial frame. Non-inertial frame of reference will not obey the Newton's law of motion. So that is why this force is considered as pseudo force. Any example of a centrifugal force that we are experiencing? This is the first example I have already given. Second is on a curved road. Suppose you are the observer sitting in a bus and the bus is moving along this curved road. So passenger, when it take a sudden turn, the passenger sitting in the bus will feel a push in the outward direction, which is away from the center of a circle. So this is all about centripetal force and centrifugal force. These are the two forces. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss their difference. So let's stop here.